To fully appreciate the value of the 1967 Washington quarter, we need to step back in time and understand why this coin is so special, and why it commands such high prices in the numismatic world. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. From then on, the quarter became a staple of American currency, and it has undergone several changes over the decades. But 1967 was a significant year for collectors due to an unusual anomaly. The Washington quarter has always been made of 90% silver up until 1964. After that, the U.S. Mint transitioned to clad coins made of copper and nickel. But here's where things get interesting. Despite this change, a small batch of 1967 Washington quarters were accidentally struck with 90% silver content, making them extremely rare and valuable. This mistake was caused by the mismatch of planchets, the metal discs that are used to strike coins. The U.S. Mint had a leftover stock of 1964 silver planchets, which are the 90% silver versions, that were mistakenly used in the 1967 coinage production, resulting in the creation of a very small number of 1967 quarters that still contained that precious silver. In a world where only clad quarters should have been made, these 1967 silver Washington quarters became an accidental treasure. But the rarity doesn't stop there. What makes the 1967 quarter so valuable? To put it simply, the 1967 silver Washington quarter is extremely rare because only a limited number were ever struck, and most of them have been lost or melted down over the years. The regular 1967 quarters, made from copper-nickel, are worth just their face value, 25 cents. However, the silver 1967 quarters are much more valuable due to the silver content and the rarity of the mistake. Here's what makes these quarters stand out. Silver content. The silver 1967 quarters contain 90% silver, making them valuable in and of themselves, even if they were not rare. The price of silver fluctuates, but as of now, the melt value of a 1967 silver quarter is around $5 to $6 just for the silver it contains. Mint error. Because of the rare error during production, the 1967 silver Washington quarters are highly sought after by collectors. Mint errors like this one are a big deal in the numismatic world, which is why people are willing to pay a premium for a well-preserved specimen. Condition. The better the condition, the more valuable the coin. A coin in mint or uncirculated condition can fetch much higher prices than a well-worn one. Demand. Since there were only a limited number of these rare coins struck, and even fewer are in good condition, the demand among collectors is high. The rarity and mystery of this error make it incredibly desirable. Estimated values and examples. Now let's get to the exciting part. How much could your 1967 Washington quarter actually be worth? Uncirculated 1967 silver quarter. If you happen to have a pristine, uncirculated 1967 silver quarter, you could be looking at a coin worth anywhere from $500 to $2,000 or more depending on the condition, grade, and demand. These coins are extremely rare, and when one comes up for auction, collectors fight for it. Well-worn 1967 silver quarter. Even if your silver 1967 quarter has seen better days, it could still fetch $100 to $500. The silver content alone will guarantee a base price of about $5 to $6 for the metal itself, but the error adds considerable value to it. Premium error coins. If you happen to come across a 1967 quarter with additional errors, like a double die, misstruck, or a clash mark, its value could soar. Coins with multiple defects can sometimes sell for $5,000 or more, depending on the severity and uniqueness of the error. Auction records. There have been auction records where 1967 Washington quarters, especially those with the silver composition and unique errors, have sold for as much as $10,000 or more. Imagine stumbling across one of these in your spare change. That's the kind of life-changing discovery we're talking about here. How to identify a rare 1967 silver quarter. If you're wondering how you can tell whether you've got a 1967 silver Washington quarter in your pocket, here are a few key ways to spot it. Check the weight. A standard 1967 quarter, the copper-nickel version, weighs about 5.67 grams, but a 90% silver quarter will weigh about 6.25 grams. If you have a scale that can measure small weights, this is an easy first test. Magnetic test. The silver 1967 quarter is not magnetic, while the copper-nickel quarter is. Simply place the coin near a magnet. If it doesn't stick, there's a good chance it's silver. Look for a slight color difference. Silver quarters tend to have a slightly different shine or hue compared to their copper-nickel counterparts. They might have a darker, more muted tone or a slightly more yellowish hue due to the silver content. Examine the edge. If you have a magnifying glass, you can also check the edge of the coin. Silver quarters will have a distinctly different texture than clad ones. Consult a professional. If you're still unsure, it's worth taking the coin to a reputable coin dealer or getting it graded by a professional numismatic grading service, like PCGS or NGC, to determine its authenticity and value. Conclusion, call to action. So there you have it, the 1967 Washington quarter could be worth thousands of dollars if you're lucky enough to find one of these rare silver errors. With just a little bit of know-how, you could potentially have a life-changing coin hiding in your spare change or coin jar. Don't let your change sit around without checking it. Because one lucky discovery could be your ticket to big money. Imagine finding a coin that's worth far more than its face value. It's one of those rare, exciting moments that collectors dream of. To understand the value of this rare 2013 $1 bill, we need to take a quick trip into the world of U.S. currency and a bizarre printing error that shook the numismatic community. In 2013, the U.S. Bureau of Engraving and Printing, BEP, which is responsible for printing all of America's paper money, made a historic blunder, and most people didn't even notice. Due to a duplication error in their system, a specific run of $1 bills was printed twice, years apart, in two different cities, but with identical serial numbers. That's a big deal because every bill is supposed to have a unique serial number. Think of it like two different people having the same social security number. These bills were printed in Washington, D.C., and Fort Worth, Texas, under what's called the duplicate serial number error. This happened during Series 2013 of the $1 bill, and it resulted in the creation of 6.4 million pairs of identical serial numbered bills. A printing catastrophe that took years to discover. But here's the real twist, most of these twin bills are still unaccounted for. Only a few have been found and matched. That means if you can find a matching pair of these duplicated serial number bills, collectors will pay upwards of $20,000 to $150,000 or more depending on condition, rarity, and serial match. What to look for, detailed guide. If you're getting excited, and you should be, here's what you need to know. These rare bills belong to the 2013 Series $1 Federal Reserve notes that were printed for the New York Federal Reserve Bank, and they have the B Federal Reserve District letter. Here's the breakdown of the key features. Series year, 2013, check the front lower right under the Secretary of the Treasury's signature. Federal Reserve Bank, New York, look for the letter B and district number 2. Serial number range. The serial numbers you want fall between B00000001 to B00250000 and B03200001 to B09600000. Stars. Some of the duplicate bills have a star at the end of the serial number. These are replacement notes, and they're even more valuable if they are part of the error. Printing locations. One batch was printed in Washington, D.C., and the other in Fort Worth, Texas, both for the New York district. Now here's the important part. You may have one of these notes, but the big money is for those who can find a matching pair, two bills with the same serial number from both printing locations. There's an actual project out there, called Project 2013B, where collectors are trying to match up these bills and offering cash rewards for finding the twins. If you find just one of these error bills and it's in good condition, you could get a few hundred to several $1,000s. But if you can match it with its twin, boom, you're looking at a potential 5- or 6-figure payday. Real-life cases and value examples. Let's talk numbers, because this is where it gets crazy. One matched pair of these 2013 B duplicate serial number bills sold for over $12,000 at auction. Another matching set in crisp uncirculated condition was listed for $24,000, and had multiple collectors bidding. Experts estimate that some of these matched pairs could go for as high as $150,000, especially if the serial number is low, like 00000001, or it has a star designation. Even a single unmatched duplicate bill in good condition has been sold for $300 to $800 on collector markets. That's quite a return for a single dollar. How to check your bills. Here's how you can start your treasure hunt right now. Go through your cash, especially your $1 bills. Look for 2013 series bills from the New York Federal Reserve, B mark. Check the serial number and see if it falls within the known duplicated ranges. If you think you found one, compare it with the Project 2013 B registry online, or consult a reputable currency dealer. If you're lucky and find a potential match, you could sell your note or search for its twin. Conclusion, call to action. So there you have it, a simple $1 bill from 2013 could be your ticket to tens of thousands of dollars, and possibly much more if you find that ultra-rare matched pair. Before you spend another dollar at the store, take a moment to check it, because it could be worth more than your entire wallet combined. If you found this video helpful or exciting, smash that like button and subscribe for more money mysteries, rare coins, and currency tips. And if you think you found one of these rare bills, drop a comment below, we want to hear your story. Happy hunting, and good luck, your $100,000 dollar bill might be just a pocket away. Would you like this as a formatted script document or turned into a voice-over ready video script?